Breakups can leave you feeling like a shipwreck survivor, clinging to driftwood in an endless sea. I just ended things with my girlfriend of 3 years, and though it was mutual, we both knew we'd grown apart, the emptiness hit hard. Little things triggered memories, a song on the radio, the smell of fresh coffee, or the quiet hum of a late-night drive. I'd sworn off reaching out to her, convinced that space was the only way to heal. But isolation has a way of creeping in, making the walls feel closer each day. One evening, the restlessness became unbearable. It was a Thursday, the kind of midweek limbo where friends are buried in work or family obligations. I didn't want to wallow at home, scrolling through old photos, so I decided to venture out. Not to our usual spots, though. Those were tainted with echoes of laughter and arguments. Instead, I headed to a small jazz lounge on the outskirts of town, nestled in an old warehouse district. The place was known for its live music, dim amber lights, and a crowd that skewed toward artists and night owls. It wasn't flashy, but the worn leather booths and the scent of aged whiskey promised a temporary escape. I arrived around 8, the band already warming up with soft saxophone notes. The lounge was half full, a mix of couples murmuring over cocktails and solo patrons nursing drinks while scribbling in notebooks. I claimed a stool at the bar, ordered a gin and tonic, and let the music wash over me. It felt good to be out, anonymous in the low light. After a while, I noticed the trivia cards stacked near the coasters, little quizzes on jazz history meant to spark conversations. I flipped through a few, testing myself. That's when she approached. Her name was Yelena, or so she said later. She was in her late 20s with curly hair tied back and a warm smile that cut through the haze. She slid onto the stool next to mine, glancing at the cards. Mind if I join? I could use a challenge after the day I've had. Her voice was light, with a hint of an accent I couldn't place. We started playing, trading questions about legends like Miles Davis and Ella Fitzgerald. She was sharp, her answers quick and laced with anecdotes. I won a round, she won the next, and soon we were laughing, the tension from my breakup melting away. Yelena wasn't flawless. Her stories rambled a bit, jumping from topic to topic, but in that moment, it didn't matter. She brought the next round, a spicy margarita for her and another gin for me. The band played on, the crowd swelling as the night deepened. After our third trivia game, she leaned in closer. This has been fun. Want to continue somewhere quieter? My apartment's not far. The invitation surprised me, but not entirely. I'd felt a spark, but rebounding felt too raw too soon. I hesitated, then shook my head with a gentle smile. I'd love to, but tonight's not the night. Maybe another time. Her expression shifted like a cloud over the sun. The smile vanished, replaced by a tight-lipped frown. Really? After all this? She gestured vaguely at the empty glasses. Before I could respond, she grabbed my jacket sleeve, her grip surprisingly firm. You owe me for the drinks. Panic flickered in my chest, but I pulled away, murmuring an apology. The bartender, a burly man with tattoos snaking up his arms, noticed and stepped over. Everything okay here? Yelena shot me a glare, muttered something incoherent, and shoved my phone, which I had left on the bar, back toward me before storming out. Shaken, I paid my tab and called a rideshare. The drive home was a blur, the city's lights streaking past. I lived in a quiet suburban cul-de-sac, houses with manicured lawns and picket fences. As I unlocked my door, I checked my phone out of habit. A notification popped up. Unknown tracker detected nearby. My stomach dropped. I hadn't owned any such device. Rummaging through my jacket pockets, my fingers closed around a small, flat disc. A Bluetooth tracker, the kind people use for keys. Horror surged through me. She must have slipped it in during the scuffle. I smashed it under my boot on the driveway, shards scattering like broken promises. Inside, I double-checked locks and windows, but sleep evaded me. Around midnight, headlights swept across my curtains. A sedan cruised by slowly, too slowly for the empty street. It looped back, engine purring like a predator. On the third pass, the window rolled down and I caught a glimpse of curly hair in the driver's seat. My blood ran cold. She was circling, searching. I ducked behind the couch, phone in hand, debating a call to the authorities. But what proof did I have? A smashed tracker? And paranoia?
The car idled outside for what felt like eternity, then finally drove off. The next day, I confided in a neighbor, a retired cop. He advised installing cameras and filing a report, but without plates or clear evidence, options were limited. Weeks passed without incident, but the fear lingers. I avoid jazz lounges now, sticking to daylight outings. Sometimes in the quiet, I wonder if she's still out there, waiting for the right moment. I've always thrived in the chaos of nightlife. At 35, divorced with no children, my life revolves around simplicity. A cozy apartment in a bustling city neighborhood, a gym routine, and my job, slinging drinks at a trendy smoke lounge downtown. It's not your average bar. Think hookahs bubbling with fruity flavors, plush cushions, and a haze of scented vapor that draws in young professionals unwinding after long shifts. The tips are decent, the hours flexible, and I enjoy the anonymity. People come to relax, not pry. My name is Marcus, by the way. That'll matter soon. It was a Saturday, our peak night, the lounge pulsed with energy, groups sharing pipes, laughter mingling with the thrum of chill electronic beats. I was behind the counter, mixing in herbal infusions and prepping coals when he walked in. He stood out immediately, disheveled red hair, a rumpled trench coat that screamed out of place amid the sleek attire. His eyes darted wildly, fists clenched at his sides. He approached the counter without sitting, just hovering like a storm cloud. "Can I get you something?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. He didn't respond at first, just stared through me. Finally, he growled, "Triple espresso shot, black." We don't serve coffee here. It's all about the smokes and mocktails. But I improvised, pulling a strong tea blend. As I handed it over, he slapped down a wad of bills, crumpled like they'd been balled in anger. I rang him up, and as I passed the change, he leaned in. "I finally tracked you down, Marcus. I know your secrets." The words hit like ice water. How did he know my name? I wasn't wearing a tag. Lounge policy for a mysterious vibe. "Excuse me, do I know you?" I demanded, lowering my voice to avoid alarming patrons. He smirked, a twisted thing. "You will." Then he spun on his heel and vanished into the crowd toward the exit. I blinked, heart racing, scanning memories for any match. Nothing. Had I served him before? Wronged someone? My ex-wife's circle was small, no bad blood there. The rest of the shift dragged, my mind replaying the encounter. Closing time came and I headed home, the city's neon reflecting off wet pavement from recent rain. My apartment was on the third floor of a secure building, but that night, unease followed me. I crashed into bed, exhausted, only to jolt awake hours later. The clock read 3 a.m. Something felt wrong. A draft? I lay still, ears straining. Then in the shadows by my closet, a silhouette shifted, human-shaped, unmoving. Adrenaline exploded. I yelled, lunging for the lamp. The figure recoiled, dropping something metallic with a clang, and fled toward the balcony door, which I'd sworn was locked. I gave chase, but by the time I reached the living room, the door swung open to the night air. The intruder was gone, scaling the fire escape perhaps. Back in the bedroom, light revealed the dropped item, a crowbar from my own toolbox in the hall closet. He'd been armed, intent on what? Harm? Theft laced with vengeance? Police arrived swiftly, dusting for prints and checking cameras, but the building system was down for maintenance. They pulled lounge footage, confirming the man's visit, but no ID yet. The entry baffled them. No forced locks, no open windows. Had he picked it? Or worse, had he access somehow? I changed locks, added a security system, but sleep comes in fits now. Who was he? What secrets did he mean? The unknown gnaws, turning every shadow suspect. Hospitality runs in my blood, or so I tell myself to justify the late nights. I'm Mia, 28, working the counter at a vibrant tapas bar in a coastal town. It's not glamorous. Small plates of olives and cheeses, wines by the glass, and a patio overlooking the ocean. No servers. Customers order at the bar, grab trays, and find seats. It saves on staff, keeps things efficient. The crowd varies, tourists during day, locals at night, with live acoustic sets drawing in romantics. I love the interactions, the stories shared over sips. That Tuesday started slow, building to a steady hum as sunset painted the waves. Families wrapped up early, replaced by couples and groups. Around 9, amid the clink of glasses, I spotted them, a middle-aged pair at a high-top table near the windows. They seemed ordinary, him in a button-down, her in a floral dress, but something nagged. They sat rigidly, not touching menus, eyes fixed on the blank wall beside them. No conversation, no glances at the sea view. I shrugged it off, busy with orders. But an hour later, peeking over, they hadn't moved. No food, no drinks. Curiosity piqued. I approached during the lull. "Evening, can I get you started with anything?" The man turned first, his face gaunt, eyes hollow like forgotten wells. He shook his head slowly, wordless. The woman didn't react, her stare unbroken. Unease prickled my skin. Were they ill? Waiting for someone? I retreated, muttering, "Let me know if you change your mind." Back at the bar, I confided in my coworker, Raul, the kitchen vet. "Those two by the window, super weird, right?" He frowned, glancing over. "What two? Table's empty." My heart skipped. No, they were there, but looking again, the chairs were vacant, no trace. Had they slipped out? Raul teased me about overwork, but doubt crept in. Closing up, the bar empty, I stepped onto the patio to lock up. Across the street, under a flickering lamppost, two figures stood motionless, faces turned towards me. The same couple, their eyes piercing through the dark. Terror gripped me. How? Why? I bolted inside, barricading doors, calling a friend for a ride. Home safe, but questions haunt. Were they ghosts? Harbingers? Or my mind fracturing?